We have a big problem. Actually, two, but we're going to start with the first one. For the past 2 months, we've had an unwelcome guest living in our driveway. When I tell you that this is the biggest frog I have ever seen, I'm not exaggerating. This thing is gigantic. To be fair, I did grow up in the frozen tundra, but this is still a giant frog. I was curious, so I did some investigating. And by investigating, I mean I posted a photo of this frog in a Facebook group to see what kind of frog it was. And boy, did I get some answers. So it turns out that our unsuspecting guest is actually a Cuban tree frog. Now, in case you didn't know, because I didn't know, that these frogs are highly invasive in the state of Florida. They cause massive damage all over the place. They destroy the ecosystem. They are absolutely awful, apparently. Because of this, everyone in the Facebook group was begging me to send this frog on a one-way ticket to freezer camp. Now, shockingly, I personally am not much of a killer. So this left us with the classic trolley problem. Do we allow the frog to live and allow it to single-handedly decimate the entirety of Florida's ecosystem? Or do we remove it from the food chain and possibly save lots of little Florida critters? Neither of these options seemed like a good plan to me, but what if there was a third option? Before we go over that, a quick update on the birds. I got the birds set up in a nice aviary. It's lifted off the ground, they got plenty of space to fly around, and I can let them out in the backyard to enjoy this big old oak tree. Now that we have an update on the birds, back to the issue with our amphibious friend. Allow me to introduce you to the third option, also known as the fish tank that's been sitting empty in our living room for the past who knows how long. Rest in peace, all the fish that have died in here. And with this beautiful 55-gallon tank we have here, we're able to give our invasive Cuban tree frog a second chance at life while also removing her from the ecosystem. Now, some of the frog experts might be saying, aren't Cuban tree frogs supposed to be living in upright tanks? They are arboreal after all. And you might be right, but this is what we have on hand, and it takes her out of the ecosystem, and it's better than the other option we had. And to be honest, in the time that we've had her in our driveway, we've barely seen her move. Kind of, but we'll get to that later. So, with all that information being out of the way, I would like to formally welcome you to Pimp My Frig, my frog crib. We've got all the dirt in there. Now I'm just gonna go and see if I can pick up some decor from it. So I'm just gonna go grab some sticks from the backyard. Alright, so here's the setup, and of course we might make some changes and improvements as time goes, but at least this is something. Alright, so with our tank finally all set up, that brings us to our aforementioned second problem, and that is that our highly invasive Cuban frog has gone missing. Now this frog, before we realized what she was, has been sitting in our driveway for over 2 months. She would disappear for a day or two sometimes, but usually come right back. But we have not seen her for about a week now, so I don't know what that means. Now my hope is that she will reappear or we'll be able to find her, but you might be thinking, why on earth did you set up this tank if you don't have a frog? And my response to that is, supposedly Florida is littered with these frogs. They are all over the place and they are causing massive detrimental effects everywhere you go. So my thought process is, if we can't find the frog that's been living in our driveway, we'll find another one. And it's the same amount of frogs removed from the ecosystem. Again, I am still hoping that our original frog will reappear and we'll be able to put her in there, but for the time being, we have the tank set up, so whenever we come across our next invasive Cuban frog, we will have a good place for them. So go ahead and stay tuned to see where our froggy adventures take us.